Today, Nvidia is fixing a bug on the 4080 with the new GPU, the 4060 Ti is looking pretty bad, Ryzen 8000 goes big.little, and Ryzen 8000 APUs will destroy the GPU market. Welcome everyone to Gamer Melt. First up for today, not long ago, a leak began spreading that claimed Nvidia was working on a new version of their RTX 4080. Specifically, the GPU that it was built from would get a new variant, the 8103-301. This change shouldn't affect performance or anything like that. Instead, it was set to remove the comparator circuit. Since then, it has essentially been confirmed. As for why, most people assume that it was the price, but the circuit in question should only cost a few bucks or maybe even less. Basically, we likely wouldn't see any real price change. Well, according to a new article from Igor's lab, the removal actually has to do with some kind of bug that affects initial fan speed of the GPU. Apparently, Nvidia did a quick fix for the bug by using a comparator circuit, but this new variant actually fixes the bug so they can remove the circuit altogether. At least that's what Igor's lab seems to have found. What's wild is that the 4090 already doesn't have it, and neither does the 4070 Ti, yet the upcoming 4070 allegedly has two versions. One version with the circuit that'll be out a little while before replacing it by the GPU without it. I guess it doesn't matter all that much given it shouldn't affect performance either way. Next up, if you've never taken command of your very own tank before, you're in luck, because this video's sponsor is the ultimate free-to-play game on PC, World of Tanks, the game that puts you right in the driver's seat of historically accurate and detailed tanks in over 40 battle arenas. Whether you're sneaking through forests, climbing up steep hills, rolling across open fields, and more, World of Tanks has something for everyone. And speaking of choices, there's over 600 tanks to choose from. I'm talking destroyers, artillery, light, medium, and heavy tanks. They've got it all, no matter your playstyle. Not only that, but you can earn experience and make it yours by modifying and even upgrading your tank. So don't wait and download World of Tanks today. And when you visit my link in the description and use the code TANKMANIA, you'll get a free 7-day premium account, 250,000 credits, the premium Tier 5 tank Excelsior, and 3 rental tanks for 10 battles each. Tier 6 Tiger 131, Tier 6 Cromwell B, and Tier 6 T34 85M. Check that out today. Next up for today, Nvidia's upcoming RTX 4060 Ti just got a really interesting leak. According to a new tweet from known leaker Kopite7Kimi, Nvidia's RTX 4060 Ti's TGP has apparently been changed, likely an internal change as the company gets closer to release. As you can see, he claims the GPU will come with the 160-watt TGP, which is really wild because that's literally lower than the 3060 Ti's 200 watts. Of course, Ada Lovelace is quite energy efficient, but when we look at the cores, Kopite7Kimi claims it comes with 4,352 CUDA cores, which is also less than the 3060 Ti. For reference, the 4090 has a whopping 5,632 more cores than the 3090 Ti, so having fewer cores than last gen just looks sad. Of course, it may have much higher clocks than the other 4,000 cards, but given that TDP, I don't know. Ultimately, it seems like Nvidia could be relying too heavily on those inflated performance numbers from DLSS 3. Hopefully not, but this definitely does not look good. Next up, we have a huge story on AMD's next-gen Ryzen 8000 CPUs. I'm talking big like game-changing. In a new video by Red Gaming Tech, the leaker claims that AMD's Zen 5, which we know is set to be their next-gen CPU architecture, actually comes with a big.little design similar to Intel's 12th and 13th gen CPUs, meaning their parts will include two separate core architectures. And AMD may have already confirmed this with their Zen 5C mention. I assume this would only be for their server chips like Zen 4C, but it may also be the little cores in their Ryzen 8000 parts. So the big core would be Zen 5 and the little would be Zen 5C. And Red Gaming Tech seems to confirm this by saying their upcoming APUs, which I'll get to in a minute, have 8 big cores and then writing down 8 Zen 5 cores. Not only that, but he's apparently hearing that AMD's Zen 5 is set to get a whopping 25% performance boost over Zen 4 on average, and he claims that this is likely single core. Regardless, that's a pretty huge jump in performance, though obviously that depends on how many cores are big cores and how many are little, because that 25% is the Zen 5 increase and not these alleged little cores. Either way, this is a huge deal for AMD's next-gen CPUs, as well as their APUs. And speaking of their APUs, it looks like AMD's Ryzen 8000 APUs are gearing up to completely decimate the discrete graphics card market. Now, obviously AMD only just announced their Ryzen 7000 mobile parts, specifically their Phoenix Point based APUs as the Ryzen 7040 series, and while they didn't give us a ton of information, they did mention that they come with RDNA 3 graphics and get an average of 21% faster performance in games when compared to Intel's 1280p, and the 1280p comes with Intel's Iris Xe, which gets some impressive performance itself. So AMD's current gen APUs are already very nice. I definitely can't wait for these to come to desktop. Either way, this brings us to next gen, which AMD has already confirmed in a roadmap will be codenamed Strix Point, is based on Zen 5, RDNA 3 Plus, has their Ryzen AI, and is coming next year. And this brings me to today's story. According to the same video from Red Gaming Tech, he goes over Strix Point. Of course, when he mentions big.little, he's referring to Zen 5 on Strix Point, but as usual, Zen 5 should be the same for CPUs as well. Either way, the really big part here is that his sources claim that the iGPU is targeting to come with a whopping 24 CUs. Keep in mind that the Ryzen 7040 series, from what I've seen, only comes with 12 compute units, so 24 would be a massive jump in performance, not to mention RDNA 3 Plus. Now, he does mention that that number could change, but even if it's say 20, that's still a massive jump. Basically, with all of that said, AMD's next generation of APUs would completely destroy the GPU market. I mean, we're talking low-end and maybe even some mid-range discrete GPUs would become useless, especially when AMD releases these for desktop as their G series. Oh yeah, and he's also hearing that it gets clocks at 3 GHz plus, so the GPU market had better watch out. So while that does it for today, are you pumped for AMD's next-gen APUs? Or if it's right, what about next-gen CPUs with big.little cores? Let me know down in the comments below. And don't forget about your free stuff from World of Tanks down in the description below. And as always, have a great day.